It was good then. I felt secure, and we had a few really good years. We wanted a family and planned children from the start, but no baby came along. Around the time we moved to Vallentuna, I began to go for tests. Every month I was disappointed when nothing happened. We even thought about adoption and contacted the adoption agency. However, regulations stated that you had to be 25 to adopt, so we were too young. I was only 21 then. I have always had strong maternal instincts. Even when I was still a child, I cut out pictures of prams from newspapers and imagined the feeling of pushing my own pram through fresh winter snow and seeing the wheels' tracks behind me in the road. When I eventually became pregnant 2 years later, I could hardly believe it. I had been worried, so I'll never forget when I picked up the test and it was positive. I rang Bjorn and yelled down the phone, "We're going to have a baby!" He was overjoyed and came straight home with a bottle of champagne. I rushed out and threw my arms around him. We laughed and cried by turns. We were so happy. Benny and Frida moved into the neighborhood and we saw a lot of each other. The boys got on with writing and we stayed in round at each other's houses singing and playing. So you could say that ABBA formed quite naturally. After all, we had the same jobs, and our mutual interests in music brought us together. Articles have postulated that Frida and I hated each other from the start, which is in fact pure nonsense. On the contrary, we saw a lot of each other out there in Vallentuna. Later, during our ABBA career, we always supported each other on stage. If one of us wasn't on form, the other stepped in and took over. On the other hand, I admit there was a strong sense of competition within both of us. Therefore, the songs were full of energy and tension. We fought over the audience, and that gave an extra kick to the concerts. The interesting aspect of the ABBA sound was created by our differences. As far as we could, we made the most of our respective voices. In the book ABBA: The Complete Recording Sessions by Carl Magnus Palm, Benny says, "When you talk about the ABBA sound, you have to consider how we arrange the songs, Michael's input and so on. But take away Frida and Agnetha and let two other girls sing instead, and the ABBA sound goes out the window." Their voices were, quite simply, the most important component in the whole of our sound structure. I don't want to hide the fact that Frida and I had opposite backgrounds, temperaments, and personalities. Neither did we get psyched up or wind down in the same way. We could get furious and tired with each other, so we had our moments, but surely it would have been strange if we didn't. It went on between all the members of the group. We worked at a killing pace while we crossed continents and time zones, never catching up sleep before we started work again. Fatigue sometimes caused severe irritation. The intensity meant that we had no control. When it was at its height, I wanted us to ease off the pace a bit. We had a great capacity for work, so if we'd slowed down a little bit, we could have easily gone on for another 10 years. When we went on television to do Ring Ring in the qualifying round of the Eurovision Song Contest on the 10th of February 1973, I was expecting enormous. I was overdue by a few days, so it was a little risky. I wasn't too stressed out myself, but everyone around me was more or less hysterical, especially one of the studio hostesses. On one occasion, she happened to hear a child shriek, came storming down the corridor and yelled, "Oh my goodness, has it arrived?" She thought I'd had my baby in the middle of the television studio. We gave a good performance and the audience reaction was tumultuous. Everyone tipped us to win, but the jury had a different opinion. Ring Ring wasn't a great song, but it was successful in Sweden and across Scandinavia. In Britain, on the other hand, it was a flop. We were unknown there then. To me, at least, it was a stroke of luck that we only came third with Ring Ring. Linda was born on the 23rd of February, so I could devote myself to her and avoid the whirlwind of activity that a success would have meant. For that matter, perhaps it was lucky for all four of us. It gave us time to prepare for the future.